We're talking about how to create your workbook specifically from scratch. I want to go ahead and in this particular section, which is section 1, talk to you about how to type in text and numbers and get the basic layout of your spreadsheet ready to go. That way you'll know how to set something up from scratch. Let's go ahead and flip over to Excel and I will show you how to get started. One of the things that people often say to me is I don't know how to actually get started with a new blank workbook, and it's really pretty simple. What you want to do is decide if you want column headings at the top. A column heading would just indicate what type of data is below that particular column. You can also have row headings. That means if you put something here for example, it would tell you what's in the row across. You can have a combination of column headings and or row headings, or just one or the other. That's totally up to you. It doesn't really matter which row you start on. You do have some area above row 1 that's called your header area, so don't feel like you have to start down in row 3, so you have some extra space there. I'm just going to start on row 1. Your cells will actually hold 3 separate items. They will hold text, they will hold numbers, and they'll hold what we call formulas. And a formula is basically a mathematical calculation that tells Excel what to do to give you an answer. You can do super simple math, like if you want to add some numbers, or if you want to do some sophisticated analysis, things like that, you could do that as well. But let's start really easy and put in some column headings. I'd like my first column to say the word months, and because I'd now like to type in B1, I'm just going to hit the tab key on my keyboard, and you'll see tab always moves to the right, enter always moves you down this column. I'm going to put in the word sales. Column C, I'll put in the word expenses, and in column D, I'll put in the word totals. You'll notice that after totals I didn't hit any key on the keyboard. That's why you see my insertion point blinking there, and I want to show you that if you hit this little check mark, that's just another way to accept the entry. Let's say underneath the word months I want to put some actual months of the year. I want to put January, February and March, and we'll use the abbreviations. I'll just put in Jan, and if you remember back in Module 1 I talked to you a little bit about the fill handle. That's the little box on the bottom right hand corner of your active cell. Remember, if you get the black crosshairs like this, that's called the fill handle, and you can hold your mouse and drag down until you want to stop. I want to stop when it says March out to the side, and you can see it's filled it in. Now let's say in A6 I want to put the word totals. You'll notice that when you type text in, the text lines up to the left side of each of the cells you've typed it in. That's where it lines up by default. You can change that, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Right now I want to put some numbers in underneath my sales and expenses. I'll say that January's sales were 150, then I'll say that February is 175, and we'll just say it's 225 for March. I'm going to click over in C2 and put the expenses in. I'm going to say it was 125, 150, and we'll say 210 here for March. And you can see I just hit the enter key to go down. In that particular case you'll notice the numbers are considered generic. There's no $sign, no .00, none of that. You're going to have to tell Excel what your numbers actually represent, and we'll get to that, but for now just know that these are the numbers we're putting in. Now let's say I've got the word totals here and I have the word totals here, and what I really meant to do up here is put in the word profits. Now I could hit delete on my keyboard to get rid of that, but I really don't have to. I can type the word profits right over it, and when I enter I've got new text. Just be really careful that you're typing in the cell you mean to, because you can't type over